Hey y'all, what's going on? It's Barb Meets World, and we are here to discuss the Real Housewives of Atlanta's season 16, episode 9, Blame It on the Henny. Yes. But before we get into all that, y'all already know I need you to do a few things for me, which include liking the video. Yes, like the video because it helps me and my channel in terms of the algorithm, helps me attract new subscribers such as yourself. And if you are not a current subscriber, go on ahead, hit the subscription button, become a buyer's babe. I would love to have you. Also, while you're at it, drop down in those comments, leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you all about my commentary as well as the episode, and share me with all of your folks near and far. Don't forget to hit the notification bell while you're at it, okay? And here we are. Let me go on ahead and throw my banner up here so you know where to find me online, so you can follow me on all of my platforms. And yeah, here we are, y'all. Here we are. And we are at episode 9, which I have to rewatch it, so I won't discuss it in any particular detail in this video. But the mid-season trailer did come out, and it looks like we're still in store for quite a bit. Not Phaedra, if that's what you're wondering. This is not a Phaedra stan account by any means. Could care less for when she's going to make her debut, but, you know, it is what it is. Nonetheless, y'all, this episode was cute or whatever. The ladies have returned from their trip. So we already know. Before we get into all of that, though, it was actually Cynthia that was doing some PI work. She was doing some PI work, collecting all the data, trying to figure out what really went down at the pool little fiasco on last week's episode at the end or whatever. So as Cynthia is discussing with Porsha and Shamea, like what exactly went down or whatever, Porsha explicitly says to Cynthia, I would never F anybody's husband. Porsha, okay. We'll let her get that off, but I was very much taken aback that she just was going to throw that out there when it can be easily put on the table that you have had some questionable behavior, and whether or not that man was still legally married or not, we know that you have some questionable behavior when it surrounds other people's husbands. So really, okay. And Shamea also opened up about how she got a text from Angela, or she sent a text to Angela checking up on her once you know she gave her a little space or whatever, and Angela texted her back to basically tell her that they all some disrespectful heifers and it ain't no real sisterhood, so be blessed. I guess she didn't expect that, but I really want to hear, because we're going to hear from Shamea later on in the episode about why she didn't call Porsha out for saying what she said. We'll hear from her at the end of the episode, but I also want to know from Cynthia's perspective. Was Cynthia on the after show? I got to rewatch the after show, y'all. I do apologize, so we can't get into that during this video either. But Cynthia, I want to know what you have to say about what Porsha said now that she's confirmed after blaming it on the Henny, as the episode title says or whatever, and just straight up denying it. Also, she admits it in the end. What do you have to say about that, Cynthia, since you were so vocal about how baby daddy's hit different and Drew brought a lot of this on herself or whatever? So is that the same case for Porsha, that she brought whatever smoke Angela had for her? Is that the same? Is that warranted then? Just wondering. Anyway, Kelli, this is kind of a throwaway scene for me, y'all. Kelli's little birthday party for her dog, who is the most pampered of pooches. Brit was the only other housewife there, I believe. I just didn't really care too much about this scene because nothing really major came of it. They did discuss how Cynthia is going to be having her Bailey Q that she always loves to have. And I want to say Brit also brought up her sisters and how they've still been moving in a good direction, although individually the sisters are not on speaking terms with one another. So her mom will be moving in with her very shortly. She's hoping that she can kind of, I guess, get things solidified, I guess, for her sisters to be back on speaking terms. Whatever, who cares? Porsha got Pilar a puppy, kind of like an emotional support type of thing. And Lauren and Miss Diane were also there when she gave her the puppy and everything. And of course, they asked about the divorce. But Porsha also lets them know about what all went down in Nashville, of course. And wait, Lauren was there, but she wasn't there. Okay, I get it. Because I was going to say, wait, Lauren was there. But she also, Porsha that is, throws Dennis under the bus when she gives her version of events involving Drew and that whole thing. She gave her version, and like they always do or don't in this case, I should say, they don't call Porsha out for any of her wrongdoings. And I think Miss Diane actually also it came out her face to say like, oh, I always try to defend you, or I can't defend this. She said something along those lines, y'all. Don't quote me, but she said something to that effect about Dennis, like she can't have his back on this one or whatever. And I was just like, I mean, I get Pilar's here, whatever happened prior to her arrival or when she was first born, it is what it is. But it's just like, it took this for you to write him off or not have his back. Not didn't he cheat on Porsha when she was pregnant or whatever? That didn't cause you to not see it for him? Like, what? Okay, anyway. I was kind of confused by that. What else, y'all? Oh, and she also downplayed the things she said to Angela in this conversation. And I'm like, Porsha, I don't really know what she's playing at this season, but I really, really hope Andy better ask the right motherfucking questions at that reunion. That's all I know. He better ask the right questions because nothing is being clarified when it comes to her. We're not talking about the real stuff that we want to talk about. And she continues to use Drew as a storyline pretty much. And it's really annoying. Anyway, Shamea had a meeting with Shadina and a potential surrogate. I want to say that it's been confirmed that she didn't go forth with this surrogate. Although the meeting went well, y'all, I still have my reservations about how much Shamea is trying to just take on this physical / mental / emotional / like just brunt of what they're going through, trying to conceive a third child, to conceive a son or whatever. Like, I get it. There's nothing wrong with wanting children, but when you're saying things like, if it's God's plan, then it will, or whatever, when like it's been pretty much not successful. I'm not gonna say pretty, take out, omit the words pretty much. You haven't had a successful pregnancy. Like, is that not a sign that maybe you should just refocus your efforts on something else right now. And y'all, I hope that didn't sound too harsh, but it's just like, and it's not even to say that it won't happen when it's supposed to happen. But right now, maybe that's just not in the cards. And a lot of times, I want to say in my life, when I have set my focus on other things and didn't just continue to stress, especially like if you're stressing about it, that's also not good health. Like, it's a lot of factors in here that are really concerning me. And I feel like that should be telling Shamea, like, maybe you should pump the brakes. For whatever reason, she's all gas though. And I'm just like, in my own personal life, I've never, I don't have any kids, never been pregnant or anything like that. But I can 100% assure you that in other areas of my life, when I've been challenged or down on, or felt down on my luck, or felt like, you know, this just isn't going right for me, and I just want it to go right so bad, the moment that I took my sights off of that and decided to just accept it for what it was or what it's going to be and focus on other things and just, you know, left it there, it's usually worked out in my favor, or I've found something better. And I wish that Shamea would kind of just take a step back and just take a chill pill. And even in this scene, I didn't understand what the point of calling her husband, because he only said like 2 words, but it just I don't know, it just didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for me. But it's not my situation, I guess, so whatever. And Angela and Charles, they worked out afterwards. She tells him about Nashville and how she took it upon herself to invite Drew. Then, of course, he calls her out because he has no reservations about calling her out, as we know. And she lets us know in the scene that whenever she needs an opposite opinion or whatever, she needs to hear what the haters have to say, she just consults him. I'm like, interesting. It's an interesting way to put it. And then also, he told her that maybe that's already pretty much what like ruffled and moved Porsha in the wrong direction when it came to her and how she handled her later on. And that it was also wrong of her to ask Porsha why she took that lady's husband. Like, that was like none of her business. And honestly, is that what inquiring minds want to know? Of course. But I did feel like it was kind of random timing or random comparisons when she did ask that. I have to be 100% honest. And that's just how I felt, y'all. What else? She told him, of course, about Porsha's inappropriate comment. He didn't seem bothered at all, which tells me like a couple things could be true, which is either A, is true and yeah, or B, like, this is not the last we're going to hear of it from him, or C, I don't know. There's a couple ways to spin this. And I feel like based on the mid-season trailer, we might have to circle back on this one. We might. This might not be the last that we hear about this. Moving right along, Dennis and Porsha, they have a confessional, which again, still don't understand why now they have confessionals. But again, Kenya still didn't get hers. Okay. But they are meeting an au pair. I don't quite understand why Porsha needs an au pair, but that's her business and that's her money. But she needs, and if you guys aren't familiar, it's usually like from a different country, young adult. They come over to watch and basically be a live-in nanny, and so on and so forth. So Dennis was also there because obviously they're co-parenting. Nanny's going to be at her place sometimes. He's going to be over there. He's going to be involved in this whole thing. So he was present. And if I'm not mistaken, he made like a snide, like a slick comment about how like, oh, like now that the nanny's here, or now that they're being au pair, like Porsha can pretty much have her midnight field trips, or whatever, however you want to put it. She could basically leave PJ there with the au pair and go about her business when she sees fit. And Porsha, I think she like laughed about it or whatever, and I was just like, Now with every type of slick comment and slick shade, there is a little bit of truth laced in there. So let me find out, y'all, let me find out, like, it's, oh my God, where's my earring? Oh, y'all, sorry. Squirrel, I think I lost my earring. Anyway, so yeah, I was just like, are you sure that you are getting this, Porsha, for like just ultimate, just general positive benefits? Or are you getting this lady to come in here so that you can continue to do whatever it is that you don't want us to know? Because it's very clear that she likes to control the narrative. She likes to evade accountability. And I don't think that we are going to ever get the truth, because for whatever reason, she successfully deflects and uses individuals such as Drew in order to have us not question what she's really got going on. We've seen Kelli try to question her about stuff or whatever, and that was to no avail. And it's like nobody has picked up the baton to really give us viewers what we want to see since. It's just annoying. And then last week, Porsha's whole thing is she was going to give Dennis all the smoke. Like, it's really him that she needs to have this, to pick this issue with, only for her to get in this scene and not show any smoke. She did ask him about like filming with Drew or whatever, but it wasn't like as heated of a line of questioning as she tried to make it seem like. And that's, again, how I know that she's doing all of this, not because it's truly anything she wants to get to the bottom of, or anything that she really cares too much about, as much as it's being brought to the forefront and being focused on because she doesn't want to talk about what's really going on in her life. Just saying. Dennis also said that Drew isn't even signed with him anymore. So I guess Porsha's words got through to her, is kind of what he made it seem. Whatever. I do think that Porsha and I do like watching them, though. I can't lie. I do like watching them. They are funny. They have a funny rapport between them. And we even seen that in this scene when she's like, let me see your glasses. Because she like took his phone. It was just weird. It was very weird. But I do laugh when they come on my screen. And he also says that he isn't hitting it. And Porsha's like, okay, so then like who is or whatever. Or she's like asking questions. And it's just like, okay, on one hand, you say that you don't really, the friendship between y'all wasn't that deep. Other hand, it's freaking Angela Sternpot. Other hand is, Dennis, you ain't stand up for me and PJ and pick us from once. Other hand, like what? How many different hands? I ran out of hands, Porsha. What the? Anyway. Brit and her mom and her sister and her grandma. So as we heard earlier on in the season, Brit was going to be moving her mom in with her in preparation for her mom to help her when they have a baby, her and her husband, that we still don't know what he does for a living, and it's episode 9, just saying. And there's a lot to unpack here. And I'm not just talking about the boxes that they're boxing up. There's a lot to unpack here because they need, where is Iyanla? Where is somebody to help these women? Because this was wild to me. So they're packing up. Her sister Cher, who we met earlier on in the season, she's there, and her father, unfortunately, I guess this is a new build that they moved into in 2014, and he had passed in 2015, which is also, I don't know if I already said this to you guys in any of my other videos, but honestly, and y'all can say I'm mean for it, but the ones who understand what I'm trying to say will understand what I'm trying to say. And it's the fact that grief has no time limit. Trust me, I am very much behind that statement. But in the same breath, it's like, Brit, again, don't know what your husband does. Don't really even know what you do. And I feel like the main individual storyline she's had is like what's going on with her family and stuff, and her father, and how his passing just kind of completely severed any severed the close family ties that they did have, even though she said like they were close, and she's like family from the beginning, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, I'm just like, so what if the whole Kenya thing didn't happen? Was this just going to be a season of us seeing you try to make amends with your sisters? Like, what if the show never came? Would you have still tried to make amends? Has this been something that you guys have been actively working at? Because it just doesn't seem like there's been any progress or any like initial conversations that should have been had. And it's like, father passed in 2015. It is now 2025. This was filmed in 2024. That's a good, 9 years. That I'm not saying that you can't be sad, you can't be still, grieving, but it's just kind of the timeline with her is just throwing me off. It really is. And I'm also like, okay, if your mom didn't get the insurance money, I don't know what she does for a living. I have no idea, but I just want to make sure that it's not her moving out of this house and in with you because she can't afford it. I want to make sure that's not the case or whatever, because I'm like, it's insurance money. Did he leave? I don't. So many questions here, y'all. So many freaking questions. And inquiring minds just would love to know. Not enough for me to be like, oh my God, let me try to slide in her DMs and interview her, because I could not with the voice. But I'm just really, y'all let me know in the comments if you have any answers to any of these questions, or you see what I'm trying to put down. Confused. Back to this though. It was bittersweet. Like I said, they didn't even make it a year in the home together. It was bittersweet because on one hand, their mom's house, like it's their mom's house, obviously. So it's like a place that it's family house, they congregate there, whatever. Like it's home. But now home will no longer exist. And it's like, okay, cool. Mom can now go on, live her best life, be wild and free. And I'm just like, okay, another question mark. I understand that, but so those are things she's going to find in your home by moving in with you, like living young, wild, and free, watching your kid. Confused. Very, very confused. Cher, she was looking for liquor, which I'm not ever going to be the first person to call anyone an alcoholic by any means, y'all, but I clocked that. And given her behavior and the way she comes off, I'm like, please don't let there be no drinking problem there, because interesting. And she also made a comment to the mom about, how dare she give away all, dad's stuff, that he laid the foundation for them and stuff like that. And then her mother, I'm like, maybe this is where Brit gets it from, because then her mother, and I mean, granted, no, was that something that was the nicest thing to say ever to another person, especially your parent? No, I get that. She was going to get some level of smoke, but it was like the way her mom jumped off the porch then and was like, how dare he leave me? And then Cher is like, he died. Like it just got like really weird. Like I was looking at them all crazy, honestly. Even a grandmother too. Sorry. I was looking at grandmother too because like everybody, not everybody, but when individuals try to go down this whole God will take care of everything, y'all gotta stop busting, and just like are bringing like God and religion to everything or whatever. And it's just like a lot of times I feel like we talk like that without really talking about what really needs to be talked about and the controllable factors. Yeah, I feel like that's more of the approach that needs to be taken in this case, where it's like, no, like stop all the fussing. No, it should have been, let me call y'all, like, can we get a mediator in here? Can we get some family grief counseling going? Can we get some individual grief counseling going? That's honestly the more concrete controllable steps that need to be taken. And then from there, after your session, if you want to pray about it, then pray about it. Seems like a solution to me, just saying. Anyway, I just was really confused in this scene. And even when Cher, because then Brit FaceTimes the oldest sister, who Cher took her dad's passing the hardest, and she's also seeming to be like the neediest, if I'm not mistaken, and kind of leans on, has obviously leaned on Brit as far as her business and stuff like that. Because didn't she say that she had to let that sister go because she just wasn't doing the right stuff or whatever? And so is there a responsibility issue there? And then also her, I guess, in so many rare words, Brit has said something along the lines of like, I guess this is like, has served as Cher's safe haven, the house and stuff like that too. So she just has a lot, I think, going on with her. And that's exemplified also by when Tiara, the older sister, gets on the phone, and then she just immediately starts like why is your voice so loud? One, two, where did all this even come from? Because she didn't say anything crazy. I felt Tiara takes the approach of just keeping her distance to protect her peace, and I totally can understand that. And she was like saying how she loves them and stuff, and basically she was trying to say like she there in spirit, is what I took from it. And Cher that comes in to be like, oh, you love me too, and you know it's not fair, you shut me out, and I've been doing this for a long time. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where did this go? Huh? She like hysterical, y'all, hysterical. And that's why I said that clearly we know Brit's problems, and she needs some assistance as well. The mom seems like, and maybe again she was just saying that because of how Cher came at her, but I'm like, it is a part of the grief cycle, if I'm not mistaken, sometimes, or can be a part of grieving, where a person might, we all grieve differently, and an individual might be resentful. So maybe she is resentful, like she said, that he left her and stuff like that. Maybe that's how she views it, even though and then Cher, then the oldest sister, I'm sure she could benefit from talking to somebody if she's not already. It's just a lot going on with them. Anyway, final scene, y'all. Cynthia's Bailey Q. It's actually taking place on Juneteenth this year, well, last year or whatever, this time around. And she also had her prophet friend there. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of her. I'm not calling her a quack or anything like that, but I was just like, okay, girl. Like, I don't know. Her approach was kind of like, okay, are you just saying this because you watched the show, or because it's Atlanta and everybody knows Atlanta? Like, where exactly? I don't know. It kind of left me with some questions. Anyway, what she tell Brit? She told Brit that she needs to choose herself instead of continuing to choose other people. She needs to choose herself and her business. What business? What business? What business? Like, what business does this girl have? Because I don't know. But anyway. Oh, Bare and Naked. That's when she starts talking about her shaper line, that we're now 9 seasons in, and this is the first time you're bringing up your brand. We've heard about your dissolve business. We've heard about your family's business. We've heard about the business you keep in your purse. Pew, pew. We've heard about a lot of business, but not the lucrative one that brings in the money. Just saying. Shamea's outfit threw me because it's like I think she got the titles and the occasion and everything. I think she got that wrong. I see what she was going for, but I think she missed the mark on that one. Not really surprised there. Shamea's 2025 is her money-making year. I'm like, I guess that could be like, it was, again, these were kind of like general things that can be collected if you watch a show, or especially with Shamea, who's obviously been vocal about wanting to do music and all these other things and stuff like that. And so maybe that, I don't know, maybe that is true because she is doing her music this year. She is now a full-time housewife and stuff like that. So things are going in her favor, and she is elevating in a lot of different areas. So I guess Porsha said, or she told Porsha that when everything is said and done, there's going to be a point where her and Simon can be friends. Could never be me, but whatever. Like, why would you even want to? Like, you can't even believe, because it's not even like his lies were lies that directly impacted her or not impacted her, but were directly like malicious directly towards her. But so it's like, if you could lie about things that are small, big, medium, whatever size, like there's no bounds to his lies. So why would you? But then again, if you're also someone who lies, then maybe you don't see it as an issue. I don't know. But I was like, when the prophet said that. What else happened, y'all? The prophet wants you to talk to Drew in private because that's how she's feeling inside. Okay. And after that, Angela and Brit get into it because she pretty much told Angela that she needs to, or Angela said she needs a vacation. I don't remember how it came about, but Angela and Brit get into it because Brit decided to say something slick out her mouth yet again, and Angela had to quickly let her know that, yeah, your mouth, you got miles on your mouth. You're a whore. Y'all, miles on her mouth, stretch marks on her mouth. Y'all, when I say, I was like, whoop, pearls were clutched when she said that. Wild. What else happened? But Brit did have a comeback, I guess you'd say, when she said, does the world know about that baby? Which y'all already know because I've been talking about this since day one of this season, which is the alleged side baby that Charles had on Angela. As Brit was talking about, Kelli was also trying to, she was also trying to hype it up too, which I'm like, okay, Kelli, just relax, girl, like not too much. And I did, yeah, I found that funny. You know what I didn't find funny though? The fact that Brit continues to try to use other people's lines and one-liners and not coin any herself. This is the second time that I can remember this season that she has coined a popular, or she's chosen to use a popular one-liner from another individual, and instead of it being like in reference to something with Kenya this time around, it's she said, do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? Which famous line from Chris Tucker during in rush hour, right? Yeah. So like, I'm like, can you be like original for 5 minutes, please? Like, can you at least attempt to be original? Use chat, like in a world of AI and chat GPT, like, girl, I would even appreciate that more. I would even appreciate a chat GPT read than these little one-liners and comebacks that you keep trying to use. Like, goodbye. Recycled AF. Cynthia, she tried to get things. Oh, before I move on to that, Shamea. Shamea's joke about, how someone tried to throw in her face that her husband had a side baby. She would be hurt, but ultimately she would want them to give them the baby because they've been trying for forever. Hee hee ha ha. I didn't quite laugh on that one because I feel like, again, with all jokes or with certain things that are said at different times, y'all, I do feel like this was a case where, yeah, you're saying that and it might be funny, but it really points to a deeper issue, which is that no, you definitely will go through great lengths to try to have a third child. I do feel like if there's probably no bounds to the length that she might go. It just seems that way because, like I've continued to say, it seems like she's trying to ignore the natural signs that, maybe this is not what is best for you to try to pursue right now. She won't look at those things. So I don't know what it will take. So anyway, Cynthia, she tried to get things back on track between Angela and Porsha. That happened right after they played this like historical trivia game where Porsha tried to act as though this was the first time she ever got a question or said something super loud and wrong. When thank you production for sharing that beautiful bean footage of Porsha's infamous Underground Railroad comments. Yeah, y'all remember my day one, my OG Real Housewives of Atlanta watchers, you already know what I'm talking about. So I was like, girl, yeah, you thought we forgot, but the North remembers. We always do, y'all. So back to this conversation between Angela and Porsha, though. My whole thing is, after all this denying, after all this, I didn't say that, it was the alcohol, yada, 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 downplay. Porsha admits to making the comment in her confessional, and she's continuously trying to make it seem as though Angela was being weird and she was the one spying on them, and I was just having fun with my friends, and like, how dare you like be like a weirdo, and like what are we gonna use that recording for? That's not the, like, you're starting in the middle. I feel like if you guys were just having regular conversation and she was like creeping, then I've been like, okay, like, girl, what's up with you? But for the simple fact that we now know you were talking about her or her husband or whatever, that is all the ground she needed to invite herself into that conversation and confront you. And you tried to deny it. Seriously? And this is, again, when Angela is the first person to apologize. And I'm just like, girl, you could have kept that apology, especially when she being Porsha, responded with a ditto at first. Like, girl, fuck your ditto and fuck you. How about that? That's what I would have said. And I would have got up and walked away, because you were dead ass wrong for what you said. And had it been anybody else, that we were talking about on any other franchise, or if this was everyday life, or, take the individuals specifically that are involved in this out of it and just throw anybody else on in this situation, 9 times out of 10, the average person would not be cool with you just saying something like that. That's not cool to just say, especially when you have a very questionable history when it comes to other people's husbands. Like, weird. But after they talk, then Cynthia brings in Shamea, because as we already know, Angela also feels some way towards Shamea, and her whole thing with her is that, like, as a married woman and stuff like that, like I just would have thought that you would have checked her on that. But you know, cat had got your tongue. And well, technically Porsha's a married woman too, but we don't have too many expectations when it comes to stuff like this. When it comes with her, I get it, but I'm just Shamea, like I get it. You're saying like it was just all fun and games or whatever, but at the same time, you could still let somebody know, even when it's all fun and games, that like, nah, that wasn't cool. Like that wasn't like, girl, did you really just say that? No, like please take it back. Like that's not fuck her man, fuck her husband. Like what are we? Absolutely not. Shamea just makes more excuses for her bestie and says, you know, it ain't her fight. It don't be her fight either when you come to her defense when other people are coming at her. So what's the difference now? You could fight for her, but you can't fight other people when she's in the wrong. Like that's the real true testament of being a true friend is telling your friends when they are wrong, is letting them know you're in the wrong here, boo. Like that's not cool, no ma'am. But for whatever reason, I guess it's the people pleasing in you. You just decide not to hold your bestie Westie accountable, and look what the boat you guys are in now. And she tried to use this like weird analogy about her cousin not attending church or being a pastor, and then they buried him in a suit. Besides the point. So I'm not surprised that they are still going back and forth online to this day. Shamea and Angela. I'm curious, like who's Angela cool with right now on the cast? Curious to know. Nonetheless, it was a cute episode. Did what it needed to do, y'all. Again, I'll be back in a separate video to talk about the mid-season trailer because we have a lot to discuss with that, as well as some other things. I'll do an entire Bravo 411 on all of those things. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought of my commentary, the episode. Don't forget to like the video. Yes, y'all, like the video. Follow me on my socials that are scrolling on the bottom. Subscribe, share, do all the things. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.